Welcome to the second live edition of the Future Podcast here at Island DAO. I have my guest, Dean, who is the Dean of Power Users on Solana.
These people are being rugged. Bad metadata. Their treasury is being drained. Pixelated crab NFTs are no longer the hip thing. The dev has disappeared. If this happens to you or your loved ones, relax. The Future DAO is here to save you with their newfangled token migrator tool.
I just called them.
I put the old token in.
And I got a new one and a fundraise out.
Now look at these people. They've been unrugged by Future DAO, and they've never been happier.
And it was so easy.
The Future DAO, for a better future.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me, Dirt.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. I want to give a special shout out to my guy, Skyrise Labs, for doing the production here. Isn't this just wonderful? While we lead into this podcast, why don't you give me a bit of a background on, where you came from, how you got into crypto, what led you to Solana, and then inevitably to Dean's List.
Yeah, so I had a background in digital marketing. I did that for a bit more than a decade in New York. And during that time, I stumbled upon Bitcoin, got in early, and started falling in love with the price action. And I just started diving in deeper and deeper. Finally, I decided, this is gonna be what I want to do, at least for the next decade. So I applied to every single job I could find under the sun. Found a CMO position with a new layer 1 protocol in China.
What was it?
It was called Taocoin.
Okay.
Very altruistic. The idea was to never have the token on a centralized exchange.
Okay.
So it was very hard to market it out and all of these things. It was a kind of like a philanthropic billionaire's dream. But it was a great place to learn some of the early marketing tips of crypto. So a lot of Bitcoin Talk, which was like this forum that Satoshi had made, and you would put bounties there. And doing that, I met another protocol called Marlin. They're still around. It's EVM based, focused on a faster block propagation. Competitor would be Bloxroot. And then I started working at Ethereum Classic Labs, which was a master class in decentralization. That's the group of people that are like code is law, and the whole split between Ethereum. It created a different class of beast. And I was working with them during the 51% attacks, so I got to meet all the miners, all the exchanges, all the wallets. Really understand, for a decentralized network, what does it look like when you're trying to coordinate things? And then after that, I had always been, from a portfolio perspective, Bitcoin maxi. I was only, holding Bitcoin, and came back to Greece, was hanging out with Whale's friend, and he's a lot more, open to trying other chains. And I was like, I gotta start looking around.
What year was this?
This is 2020.
Okay, nice. DeFi summer.
Yeah, and got into Sol. I really, in retrospect, it's a bad reason, but I liked Sam Bankman.
Yeah, I bought the sandbag. We all bought the sandbag.
We all bought the sandbag. He had done that sushi swap save, and he was really good guy looking, and then tried
effective altruism. Come on.
Yeah. So I believed all of that, and tried Radium. It was the first thing, and it was just like night and day with Ethereum. So much faster. The user experience was great. So just like, okay, let's continue here. Then founded Grape, which was this idea of taking a certain experience I had seen on Ethereum, which was you could buy a token, then go into a Discord and get a special role. Then all of a sudden you're part of this club, and then you can participate in certain games just because you have that token. Like, wow, this is really cool. I think it should be on Solana. That's how we did the Discord bot at Grape.
I know Grape. I didn't know you were behind Grape.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. And then during Grape, we tried a few different things, community-wise. We had different groups. And one of them was this feedback group, which is like, look, people organically are giving love and affection to these protocols. They're going into the Discord. They're being part of the community. They're giving feedback on what they see, and sometimes they're rewarded, sometimes they're not. Well, what happens if you explicitly bring these people together and say, we want to get rewarded for this. We think our feedback is valuable, and it turned into Dean's List, which as you opened with, it's a network state focused on power users. What happens if you have a bunch of people who are early adopters, the beta users, like the first ones to try stuff? What would that look like? And the export is primarily feedback.
That's legendary. I'm realizing while I'm listening to you talk about this that I should have become a Dean's List member a long time ago. Because like I was doing when FTX went down, and I decided like, okay, I'm gonna try to do something, create a Twitter persona, start writing blogs. And so I like my shtick was I would find a protocol that I liked, and then I would just like completely break it down, use it like with tokenomics, like socials, the community, like the whole thing, and like scorecard it. I would scorecard it and then like update it to my little database, and then I would provide that for free. But like the trade-off was like it allowed me to like have good conversations with people, get into the Discords, figure it out. But like it would have been really fun to do that as part of like a DAO setup.
Yeah.
And so realizing like you've been in the space quite a while, it actually makes you the ideal person to do Dean's List. And it's nice that like your name's Dean, and then it makes me think of like a professor, and so Dean's List, like it tasteful.
Yeah.
Tasteful.
The energy of reviewing something with a group of people that are at that same level of usage, right? It's not like you're grabbing someone off the street and trying to teach them their first wallet. Like sometimes we get on one of these Discord audience like video calls. It'll just be like 6 of us, like, okay, did you see that this isn't working? Oh wow, is it working for you? Yeah, it works for me. Okay, so it's not really a bug. Maybe you're doing something wrong. Like
so true.
Yeah, so we're every time we find a bug, we have to like do it in like triplicate across multiple different people just to make sure. Okay, is this a real bug? Then it's like feature discussions. Like, wow, don't you think it would be better if the button was here? It's like, yeah, they so need that. So yeah, that's the main thing we do at the Dean's List. Also, we've got grant management. So we have the Decentra Grants program. We work with Solana Foundation to explicitly fund governance-focused grants. So anything that's trying to act as a public good, open source. We've done a few of those. GibWork has been a very important partner for us. I think GibWork's one of the best places to source.
What's GibWork?
GibWork was a project started by 0x nullref, and it's very super team-esque, Dean's List-esque in that it's finding work for people, but it's explicitly focused on dev work, and funds are escrowed, and the moment the GitHub PR is merged, it's released.
Oh, that's
so
sweet.
Hey, this is what we need. This is our issue, and then once it's resolved, the payment automatically goes through. And I've done now, I think maybe 5 or 6 grants with them.
Sick.
Amazing talent. I highly recommend if you're looking to build something to work with the GibWork people.
I'm gonna have to look into that. It's in the wheelhouse. No, that's super awesome. Why don't you? So you're in the governance realm. As people may or may not know, Dean's List is also a Futarchy as a service candidate. How did Futarchy and MetaDAO come to you, and when was the moment where you're like, we got to use this?
Yeah, so I was fortunate to be one of the people that got into that Discord early. Sick. And completed the quiz. So I was I believe it's a cyber capitalist.
That sounds on brand.
Yeah, if you have there's 2 of them. There's the techno, I think it's advisor, and then there's a cyber capitalist. So was there at the beginning, got to interact with it, and like more than anything, I'm a governance nut. So I just want to try these new things, and a lot of Dean's Listers are the same way. So when the opportunity came, it's like we have to be part of this because we really put extra effort to do everything on chain. Like,
respect.
One of the hardest parts of what we do is every single thing is on chain. So excited to have our first proposal, which is going to be, if we're going to do it the correct way, we're also going to put funds into the treasury that's controlled by the Futarchy, the autocrat program.
Yeah.
And if the proposal passes, we're going to be sending funds to one of our members. So there's this gentleman, his name's Scientist Joe. He's been part of Dean's List since the beginning. And on his own volition and his own resources, he's opened up an office in Nigeria, Dean's List office, and made shirts and everything, and he's hiring people. I'm like, okay, this guy needs to own more of this. So we've made a proposal to give him 2.5% of the total supply.
Legendary.
That way he can have more governance within, the DAO, and also give it out as he sees fit to these new people. So that's going to be the first Futarchy vote, probably. I say probably a lot when I talk about Dean's List because I don't get to choose these things. But yeah, and I think that's a great one because we'll be able to quantify, like, do we believe in this initiative? What value will it give? And I think that those are the best proposals for Futarchy. When you can sit there and say, okay, how will this move the needle? Like, if there's a proposal that, is it going to change anything if we change the logo color? Like, okay, that doesn't need to go on chain.
Truth. I think that's interesting. So Scientist Joe and like Nigeria office, because Solana All Stars through Nigeria are kind of having this like moment.
Yeah, SimDope
and that adds to the validity of the Futarchy. You cannot help but say like, your guys are there, they're there. How many other protocols are there right now? Probably not a ton. You fast forward a few years, probably a lot more. And so Dean's List being able to be there on the ground, like shepherding what good governance looks like, I think it's badass.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, I'm curious also how like you're looking at Futarchy for future.
So for us, like our proposal should go live actually, I think in the next few days. And so we decided not to go the route of putting a price tag smart contract embedded into it. It was more so like, this is sort of what we think it's going to cost. And our proposal is around the actual Futarchy protocol, which is like in development, but it's more so on the lines of like, does the community allow us to sign the checks to release the money to pay for it? Which, like, the funny thing is, like, if that's a no, then it comes out of pocket. So, we really got to do our work to make sure that we pass this one. And it's funny, like, hearing you talk about, like, All-Stars is a big thing for us and, like, the protocol is it's, like, human capital. It requires people that are hungry to be out there to do these movements. And Solana All-Stars and Super Teams is a perfect example of a place where you have, like, new communities coming in, and we want to help have that education moment to bring them on. And so, I'm spitballing from the Futarchy side of it, but I just wanted to give like the context and wrap it around to the All Stars part.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think that's a good point, and those are two teams that are definitely they've got such large reach now, especially Super Team. I mean, it's crazy. I think there's like 18 countries or something like that.
And growing.
Yeah. And
I don't think it won't stop until it kind of has every single one, right? So it's like you can see exactly kind of where it's going. You guys did a Dean's List session. What do you call them? When you like a review, what do you call them?
Feedback sessions.
Feedback sessions. You guys did one for MetaDAO's release, and you found a bunch of good things for them to find. What does it look like? Like, is the DAO earning funds for the service? Is it token based? Is it good spirit? What's the model there?
Yeah, so everything is in USDC as far as payments.
Nice.
And we've experimented with token incentives as well, but we definitely want pay people.
And you don't want to dump the community's token either. I get that.
Even if that's fine, but it does throw in some emotion, right? Yeah. It's like, okay, you got paid. Oh, why did you? It's like no one should ask you why you sold. Like, here, just give the person USDC and let them do whatever they want. Completely they can go and buy the token if they want, or they can go and buy the groceries that they intended to buy. So it takes the emotion out of things by paying USDC. So in the case of Meta, the review there, that's an interesting example because we have a recurring grant for hackathon reviews.
Sweet.
So we help both on hackathon judging and on reviewing the hackathon winners. We've done this now for 3 hackathons.
Legendary.
Now, even though there's 30 teams, 35 winners, those 35 winners fast forward about a month later, maybe there's 20 of them still building, which is a problem in the space. But I think that Solana does the right thing in pushing capital out to these new projects. So we've contract to do 35, but there's only 20 that we in good faith could actually do a substantial review of. So we've got 15 left. Okay, so instead of us saying we won't do the 15, we come back to Solana and we say, hey, how about we choose 15 protocols across Solana that we think we could really give value to? They love the idea, so we then voted as a community. And one of the ones we voted for was MetaDAO, since we are also getting the Futarchy as a service. And so we earmark a certain amount of USDC for that. We allocate a manager, and that's usually as simple as somebody in the DAO saying, hey, I'd like to be the manager of this feedback. And at that point, the manager has complete decision-making on how they want to execute. So if this person wants to do the entire feedback session by themselves, that's up to them. If it's not a great result, we're not going to choose them again, right? And in this one, Whale's friend chose a team of people that he specifically gels with and knows that they would be able to understand Futarchy. And then he manages that P&L completely, and that's kind of that's how we make the feedback sessions.
That's sweet. I like that a lot. I also like you involve DAOs and you involve governance, and it seems like you have a clear line or a clear sight on what really involves taking something to a token-based vote versus what is just like a competent person in a room doing a job. You can't overcomplicate stuff, and empowering one person to make the choice who's the right person, I think is the right call. There's got to be a lot of human involvement.
Yep.
Even the AI space, there needs to be the human training. You can't just put it in the robot's control. No, that's awesome. I wanted to ask, you've told me kind of the whole breakdown, and now I have a much better understanding of kind of how Dean's List works and your guys' ethos. Where does the token come into play?
Yeah, the token is a constantly evolving thing for us, and so far it's been governance. We've used it as recognition award sometimes, but its primary purpose is governance. We did dabble in a anti-Sybil participation economy schema once, but it ended up adding more complexity than it helped. And the idea before it was to prevent work claiming, and I think that this is a problem that hasn't been solved, where you say, okay, hey, this needs to be done. Who wants to do it? And then somebody insta raises their hand. I want to do it. And it's like, okay, it's your job now. And then fast forward maybe 4 weeks, and they haven't done it. That's a problem, right? Because this person has claimed it, no one else will even venture into looking to complete it. So we said, okay, instead of having this work claim thing, how about people deposit a certain amount of token, and if they do complete it, they get the refund back. If they don't complete it, somebody else, can come and take the job.
I like that.
Yeah, it works well on paper. It's just it's cumbersome. You're adding more work, and sometimes we were rationalizing. It's is this bringing a big enough benefit? I think that there's ebbs and flows. We have a much more difficult problem in a bear market because a lot of people need money. So there's a lot more demand for those roles, people are really competing for them.
Right.
Whereas in bull market, there's less competition for it because people are making money from airdrops left and right. No matter how much you're making at Dean's List, one Jito airdrop is going to be a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. So with Dean's List and your members, how many members you got?
So as far as people in the Discord, it's 1,000. But as far as unique people who received USDC in the last 15 days, it's about 55 people.
That's pretty legit. And so the way that it works is you obviously merit-based recognition from somebody, get maybe invited to join, or you can apply or be invited kind of on both sides.
Yeah, that's a good question. So the highest level of citizenship is to have the NFT.
Cool.
So we have an NFT. And then below citizenship, it's pretty much anybody can come in. So You go into the Discord, and you can instantly just start working. And then there's one level a little higher up, which is, you fill out a form and we issue you an NFT. We call it the business visa. And this business visa, we're using a combination of underdog protocol and something that one of our members built. His name's Bagya. And what it does is it has a timer. So after 30 days, the metadata sets to inactive. So your business visa is no longer valid after 30 days.
Nice.
You have to pay $5, which we have on our Sphere-powered website. You pay $5 to renew your business visa. And then it's active again. You can start, working again and receiving payments. So anybody can come in instantly and start working. A manager might not select you. Like the manager gets to decide where they're allocating work and where they're sourcing. Last time I was a manager, I think 3 weeks ago, I was working on the, I call it Meteora, other people call it Meteora. I was working on that feedback. And I carved out like 20% of the budget to go to Super Team because I think that, we get great work from Super Team as well. So every manager gets to decide. Yeah.
And so do you guys use Super Team Earn to either post for jobs or look for jobs?
We did the looking for jobs before, and we had some mild success where it's like, okay, it's 1,500 for this Twitter thread. What if 3 of us get together to write the Twitter thread? We'll all split, 1,500. We did that a few times, and it was just like, the hard part there is that you have no guarantee of payment.
True.
Whereas all the work we're doing, you already know if you're going to do this, you're going to get paid. There might be a variable factor in there. So if you're working in a generic public pool, you're going to get anywhere between $5 and $50 for work. Whereas if you're working directly for a manager, you can get up to like 500 for that work. Whereas on Super Team, you're not positive that you're going to get paid because there's just so many people competing against you. So it's not always, the ROI is not it's not there for us. We do, though, post a lot of our jobs there because, again, I'm telling you, we get great talent and we discover, other gems. And
Smart.
Yeah.
That's sweet. It's like you solve something really important too. And I like that, you come in and what you earn is how much output you have. So that's like already one big thing solved is like, you start running a team and I'm getting new experience there and you set like, okay, this is what the payment's going to be for whatever. And this is like what we agreed to. But, life happens, other jobs happen, things don't get done. So like your guys' model is already superior in that aspect. And it's like, it just so happens that it's like not only the model you choose to pay, but it's like how Dean's List operates. It's by virtue of what you operate that people get to earn that way. So It's like really a good setup there.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, look, this is an evolution of over, close to 2 years now.
Yeah.
Realizing that, claiming work is a problem took us some time. Realizing that paying out in the token, is a problem took us some time. We also have taxation. We didn't start with taxation. We evolved into taxation because, we all wanted roads, but none of us wanted to be the one to build the roads without getting paid. So it's like, okay, let's take a bit of money off of each of us. So
interesting. That's unique.
Yeah. So
it's like the protocol is taxing its members, but it's like going back in to make it better and everybody's life better.
Yeah. So that's your governance token.
Yeah.
Is deciding how we use your tax money.
Yeah.
And we all get taxed the same. We get taxed at the point of payment. So our feedback sessions go for $2,500. The taxation there is going to be anywhere between 10 and 30%, depending on where we are treasury-wise.
Yeah.
We try to run a zero treasury.
Wow.
That was something I learned from Akshay at Super Team. Like, really, we're not trying to be a hedge fund. The only tokens that we don't count towards treasury are governance tokens. And we will work for governance tokens because we want to be here for the long haul.
Yeah,
and the idea is, for us to be like large delegates in, protocols like Marinade, Mango, what have you, even Meta.
Sick.
yeah, maybe even like, we can work for Future and in Future Token, be part of governance.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about that a lot as well. And seeing like what you did with the symmetry bag and kind of like the Futarchy DAO bag, I think it's a really cool idea. And just the idea of like DAO aligning and like, shared tokens and treasuries and whatnot. Something that I'm super new to, but super open to. And so I think we'll have a lot to jam on in the future with that regard. While we get close to wrapping this up, why don't you tell me a little bit about Island DAO, where we're at, your involvement with it, and like I just want to give you a shout out. Like, only been here for a week. Be sad to miss the last two, but like honestly, great job. Had a lot of fun. So props.
Thank you. Yeah, this has turned out a lot. Like, every time when you're playing something, you have no idea, but the people, it's gelled. It's coming together really nicely. So this is now the third event that the Dean's List team has put together. The first two were Athens DAO. We always do Greece-based stuff. And though Athens DAO is a governance-specific conference. And Foundation reached out and said, would you be interested in doing something like Mountain DAO?
No shit.
And it was like, you know what? I would. So, the idea was, okay, if one's on the mountain, the other one should be on an island, near the sea. And the goal really is to replicate what Mountain DAO is, because I think it's been a phenomenal success. These are events that help the middle of the funnel a lot. I think of it about a team like Triad, where they came in here super energetic, grinding. Every day they're here building from like, dawn till dusk. Coming here, they unlock doors very fast. Like being home, they're not seeing people, they're not talking, and we're not overhearing their problems. Whereas the other day, one of them mentioned, oh, I've got this error coming up from Blowfish. Somebody overheard it. Oh, I know Adam at Phantom. He can help you out. Pop, pop, pop. Solved.
Yeah, so true.
So that's a problem that would have set them back who knows how long. And here it was, resolved within a matter of minutes. They've been talking tokenomics with people. They've launched their platform, and everybody's giving feedback on it. So, I think the goal of these things obviously is for us to learn and network, but I think it's really special for the new projects. Like the bigger ones should come. That way they can continuously, shepherd these new guys and be connected. Yeah, like that's how you kind of continue to shape the ecosystem. Someone super new to Solana shouldn't be here. Like honestly, this is a little higher up on the knowledge bar, but the mid funnel is great. For the next month, what we're trying to do is have content dedicated for certain days. That way, there's more people to be there and give the energy. We really want to highlight the builders here. So we have the Builder of the Day program. We're working with Skyrise, of course. Thank you. Tiago is behind the camera. You don't know how,
legend.
You have no idea how handsome this man is.
Don't come; it'll ruin the whole thing for us.
So yeah, and then every Sunday we're gonna do something all together. Like we went to the beach on Sunday. This Sunday we're gonna go to a different one. We got some jet skis, some boats. Like the idea is to, work hard and then play hard once a week, and then hopefully we can spread this to other places. You remember, we tried to discuss a token, and what I like about it is here was a moment where it's like, hey, maybe we make a token. We discussed it as a community. Didn't feel like a great fit. We abandoned it. That's these are places where you can have unique moments for experimentation, and the vibe's real.
I always say, just because it's not now doesn't mean not never.
Yeah,
there was some good conversations around circular economy and like providing value economically in the area you are. And like to add on top of what you're saying, I went to Breakpoint. It was the first conference I went to last year, and then like had a good time. Of course, it's hectic, it's chaos. And then, got to scamper on to Barrett and then the MarginFi guys and got to go to Mountain DAO. Kind of like, power user, but not really anything more than like blogger, new podcaster. But I was like, look, I'm coming. I'm just going. And so I went there and was like, man, like this is so good. Being able to be around people building stuff, still having fun. We're going snowboarding and skiing. You're just having a blast, right? And so when I saw that Island DAO was out, and I was like, wow, I'm going to Crossroads anyways. I'm definitely going. Now I have more reason to be here with Future Protocol and, you know, a little bit more knowing people in the industry. But like, if you're new and you aren't ready, you know, join communities, help with marketing, do it for free, do it in multiple places, you know, make a Twitter persona. And then if you can get on with the team, or if you already have one, look for these DAOs and come to them. Just for the sole purpose of like working here and having conversations with the right people, because like you find them. It's insane how many people I've met, like yourself, and like before the group call that we did, I didn't really know Dean's List existed, even though it's like a wheelhouse that I would have loved to have known years ago. And it's just amazing how many, you know, I don't want to say fly under the radar, but it's like, you know, how do you curate your own Twitter?
Yep.
Is what you see. I don't see Solana shit now. I don't see anything with any other blockchain. Like,
Yeah.
oh, there was an ETF. That's cool. But yeah, so while I wrap this up, I want to thank you. And then I like to ask my guests sort of one last thing before they go. And it's what has made Dean survive through the previous bear market into the bull market? Like, what's your thing? Whether it's the gym, Zen meditation, like what does Dean do to stay sane?
Even during the bear, I mean, I got FTX'd hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I love what I do. I mean, this is there's nowhere else to work that's as interesting as this. We're literally working on things that are going to be part of history. One of the things I love that, you know, Meta Prophet says every so often is there's a non-zero chance this becomes the way we govern, you know, society, civilization. And I think about that across everything we're working on. There's a non-zero chance this conversation is going to be something that's looked at, you know, years from now. There's a non-zero chance we're going to be in the history books having, you know, revolutionized different parts of society, right? You know, something as simple as, you know, how we coordinate our time with commitment, something more complicated like how we coordinate work amongst ourselves. You can go all the way up to the governance level. Then, you know, of course, there's payments. Just every single thing we're touching excites me. And I've never had a bad day. I've never had a bear moment since I started working in crypto.
Legendary. Well, with that, we got Dirt, we got Dean, we got DAO brothers from another mother. Thank you.
Thank you.